All right, Shalom, Yasha'Allah. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikar Kadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. And salutations to all you Akim, all you brothers out there that's pushing this truth and true sincerity. Shalom. I just bring it, coming back at you with a quick hit. I'm going to just jump right into it. This is Isaiah 14, starting at verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. Jacob represents you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and confusion of faces. All right, the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, when you hear Jacob in the Bible, it's synonymous with Israel, okay? And we yet choose Israel, they go, there go, and set them in their own land, because we're not in our own land. We're in the land of our oppressors, America. America means bitter. Our real land is Israel, okay? And those guys over there that call themselves Jews, Jewish, those are Khazars. Those are Amalekites. Those are imposters who went over there in 1948 and took our land. All right. But ultimately, the Lord uplifted us out of the land because we failed to obey His law, statutes, commandments, and have faith, basically. You know. So once again, in the latter days, He's going to put us back into our own land. Okay. So that's comforting. All right. It says in this, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them. Now those strangers are Israelites. Those are not foreigners, okay? Because the law, statutes, commandments for Israel, salvation is for Israel, okay? You can find that throughout various scriptures in the Bible. Those strangers, if you go into that word, I believe that word strangers is gar, all right? People who sojourn in a land, but they're not actually from that land. Like, we're sojourning in America right now, but our homeland is Israel, all right? And you got to believe that, all right? This place out here is not our homeland, man. All right, you got concrete everywhere. Trees are being cut down. You got chemtrails. You got smog. You got bad food. We can clearly tell that this is not our land, all right? For you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, you so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians, excuse me, you was brought over here in cargo slave ships, all right? And then for you so-called Native Americans and so-called Latinos and Seminole Indians, you was already over here, but you came over here, all right? And that's when your oppressors started to come over here and slaughter you, all right? So this place has never been yours, all right? It says, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and confusion of faces, shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. So we are basically slaves here in America, okay? But the picture's going to be turned around. It's going to be flipped. It's going to be flipped, basically, okay? We're going to rule over our oppressors. Those people who oppressed us, namely Esau, the so-called white man, and the other nations, all right, they're gonna serve us, all right. This is good news, okay? Because there's always been, from the time being when man was created, there's always been somebody on top, and there's always been somebody on bottom. That's just how it goes. Even in the movies, you got the person that's on top, you got the person that's on bottom, you got the good, and you got the evil. Okay, it says, I'm going to start at verse 2 again. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess. That means you're going to possess them. That means you're going to have slaves, man. All right, this is good news. This is good tiding. All right, all right. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So we're here doing hardcore bondage here in America, but the tables are going to turn to where these other nations who we went into captivity under, they're going to be serving us. All right, so the Lord's going to flip it once again. Okay, so all you other nations, get ready to go into slavery. You might as well just start giving us gifts right now. Okay, just to prep yourself. All you other nations, man, outside the nation of Israel, man, just start try to give us gifts right now so you can prep yourselves. All right. All right. Get into practice. Like Allen Iverson said, practice. Practice. All right. Now the point is in verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow. Man, that's that, man. Every time, personally, when I read this scripture, man, it's comforting because you got sorrow since you came out of your mother's womb, man. All right, you might have had problems with your family. You might have, you might not get along with your mother. You might not know who your father is. Or if you do know your father, he fell up under the curses. All right, he might have been an alcoholic or a drug addict. Or he might have left you when you was like 5, or when you was a teenager, he might have left. All right, you got dysfunctional families, okay, out here. You got sorrows. You might have had women left you. All right, you might have had something dear to you, like an animal that died, like a favorite pet. All right, it's always some type of heartbreak out here, man. Brothers might have, before they got into the truth, might have got into some type of legal trouble. Okay. Financial trouble, all right, health problems, all right. When you come into the truth, man, it's sorrowful, man, all right. It's sorrowful, man. Let me get a scripture on that. Just real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 1:18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So the more that you get the understanding of these scriptures and you realize that we're in hell, because hell is a condition played out on earth, the more sorrowful you are. So the Lord said he's going to relieve this sorrow from us. Let me read that again in verse 3. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear. All right, from thy fear, because we fall up under the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let me get this. Deuteronomy 28. And what is this? Deuteronomy 28:66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. All right, this is the valley of shadow of death. All right, a lot of you jakes like to read that in Psalms chapter 23. That's talking about America, because death is around the corner everywhere you turn in America, man. All right. So the Lord is going to give us rest from our sorrow and our fears. Even when we drive around here in America, there's always a cop lurking. All right, there's always some type of demons. There's a legion of demons here in America. So the Lord is going to give us rest from all this bitterness here in America, man. That's good tiding. But we tell our people, hey, there's a better way of living in the kingdom of heaven that the Lord has prepared for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you want to be here. That's why the Lord is only going to save a remnant out of the second Egypt. The Lord was tired of dealing with you when you came out of Egypt the first time. So this time he's like, look, I'm only going to save a few amount of men, women, and children out of the second Egypt called America. Okay. Let me read that from verse 3 again. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. All right. It goes back to Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. All right. Now, a couple weeks ago, Kanye West made this comment about slavery was an option. You Negroes have forgot about that, man. All right. There was this big controversy, okay, about slavery. And you forgot about it because you're still conditioned to be a slave here in America. You don't want to touch that topic of slavery. All right. You don't want to tell this man that he's the devil. All right. You don't want to touch that topic, but you're still in slavery to this day. No matter if you're a so-called Negro with money, or you live in the slums and the ghettos, you're still a slave. If you're a basketball player making $250 million a year, all right, if you're a baseball player like A-Rod, all right, making lots of money, you're still a slave, okay? You're still a slave here in America under the oppressor, the so-called white man. And a lot of you jakes are afraid to say that, all right? That's why 2/3 got to go, man. All right, so we're in bondage here. All right, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're making $8 an hour or you're a top athlete, all right? Look at these soccer players, man, from South America. They're still slaves, man. They're still slaves under the so-called white man. You got to do and say whatever this devil tells you so you can get rewards or goodies here in Babylon, man. All right? That's bondage. That's not living. That's bondage, man. All right? Read that again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord in the kingdom of heaven shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. All right, so that's beautiful, man. You know, that's beautiful. We're going to get the hell up out of here soon. And what these prophecies going on, it's a sign to tell you that you need to get your mind right. That's why these videos keep going up day and night. All right, while the internet is still here. So with that, you know, that Lord willing, I hope that was comforting and edifying, you know, for brothers out there. Keep pushing, and we're going to get the hell up out of here, Lord willing, soon. So with that, I want to say shalom.